Welcome again. Welcome everybody to All In, All United. Your boys Reem and Nick on the inside here. And this review supposed to be a good one. But Nico, sometimes when you leave and it have a kind of bittersweet taste in your mouth, a kind of bittersweet feeling. We're glad for the points. It's a victory. We're back into second place. And that's reason to feel good about. That's reason to feel optimistic about. But because we're football fans and we're not stat fans, we look deeper than the result now. And when you look at today's performance, it has so much that's left wanting. Questions, plenty questions. What going on? We talk about it before. How much time we go talk about this, Nico? And I mean, we win, yes, and I don't want to sound too negative, but we football fans, Nico. And what we've seen out there, I'm not really proud of my team in terms of performance. Talk to me.
Hey, good night. All yeah, boy, we was boy, especially for the first half. It was scratching their head in terms of how was it planned to break down Newcastle, boy? And as you would have said, Rashford had a moment of brilliance. The individual quality would have shown through. And then we went ahead, but still, it wasn't seeing where the goal was coming from before that. I guess we was grateful to go ahead. But as you would have said, a lot of head scratching, a lot of so there's a feeling of what it is we did training. We did training. How we plan to beat Newcastle today. We want to see the plan to beat Newcastle. If it was because of the trip in Europe, possibly guys would have come back a bit fatigued. And you know what has happened to us too when we win convincingly, like we just overindulge. We saw from the PSG, we beat up PSG. That was back in Paris, and we came back and we just flop in the league. So I don't know, maybe we just overindulge, but at least second half we end up we pull through.
But you say fatigue, right? But we didn't play. But it had performances before where we were asking the same questions because I mean, in my opening introduction, I was asking the same thing, like how much time before we've been talking about performances, how much time we've been talking about depending on individual brilliance, you know. So I don't even know if it's fatigue. But anyway, you're getting
Um,
to it.
you're getting to it.
Ion, welcome man. Thanks for joining me. Saying the first half was clueless. I didn't know what the outcome would have been today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely right.
He said I bash James all the time, but he did have a good game. Seems like he's building some confidence.
Hopefully, we hope so because even let me say, as much as Greenwood have been playing well, he haven't been scoring much. I don't know if it is that James will continue the scoring run, but if he can, I think it's definitely an outlet that we need. I think we need some goals in the front line. Whoever I come from, all the goals that come from Bruno, all the goals that come from Rashford. So if we get James chipping in with some timely goals, that would definitely be a plus for us. Because a goal like today is a match-winning goal. It's not a goal that he would have been scoring. Like we said, the last goal in wherever games he would have scored in, the last goal of the game when the game was already wrapped up. But this goal today was a match-winning goal, and to me that is most important, especially for confidence.
Yeah. And I remember last season. Last season was James' first season, right?
Yeah.
Right. So remember he had at the start of the season he had a nice little purple patch and he
Mm-hmm.
was scoring and he was performing well. So we hope that he entered into his season's patch, where we know we could get some top performances from him, we could get some goals. Because like you were saying, throughout the season, anytime James came in, he came up with a real good performance,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a goal or assist or some, So let me hope that this is probably Daniel James patch where we're gonna get some stats from it now, Hey Dion, good night. Thanks for joining me. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night,
Appreciate
Ian.
taking that, but lots of questions. Very correct, very correct. We hear questioning what really going on, because I mean, we are football fans, we're not stat fans, So yes, we happy for the win. We're happy to move seconds into the table. You know, we're happy to be up on top there. But at the same time, we want to watch some football and enjoy the game, you know. I got a Chaco State in first place, Joga Bonito, you know. Hey, Gregory, good night, man.
I agree.
You say games like this are proof that men just had to take their chances. Yeah, sometimes men just need a confidence boost. It's true, it's true. But Nicole, let me get into the mix, you know. Team sheet, thoughts on the team sheet when you saw it come out an hour before the game?
But definitely seeing Daniel James is always raise a eyebrow, eh? Because I know he have been struggling as we would have said for confidence. Some of his decision making doesn't be the best. We know we already struggling for ideas. We know that he might be a bit one track at times. So that will definitely raise an eyebrow. Not seeing Bahia again, would I raise an eyebrow because I know that coming up, no man, I know he played the week, and most likely I know Oli wasn't going to play him, but I was still had a bit of hope that Oli would have say, well, Bahia, play this one. Because I know the pace, let me say, Saint Maximin. Sometimes let me say if he break down, let me say Wan-Bissaka or he beat Wan-Bissaka and there's a one-on-one type. You really don't want him running against Lindelof or Maguire. So I was really hoping that but I say no problem. I know Lindelof for that rest in the week. He should be up for the fight. So definitely that was a okay. I talked about James before that. I think outside of that, Matic, I wasn't really 100% sure how injured McTominay was, to be honest. So see Matic there still, I said, well, all right, I think he can do our job. Yeah, and otherwise, I think everything more or less picked itself.
Yeah, on the whole buy thing, I know it's a kind of situation where Oli trying his best to manage a situation because remember, and you would have seen it today, well, Lindelof would have been kind of grimacing with a little back issue now, and he would have been stretching to try to sort out whatever affecting him now. So we know Lindelof have a back problem, and then too, we're still not sure based on Bailly's injury history. And remember, we're not in the back room staff. We're not
Yeah,
in
for sure, for sure.
what is going on. So Ollie had to be very, very careful in terms of how he managing them two players. So I be honest with you, I wasn't expecting Bailly to play today, but I know for sure Bailly playing Tuesday, right? And it's kind of in and out. That's what I figure Ollie might be managing them players to one
Right.
preserve the length of time he will have use of Lindelof for that back issue, and then in hope that Bailly will last longer and not
Right.
have more games to do strippiness or to injust himself or
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be cynical, but it's just the nature of trying to handle a situation like this with the Bailly Lindelof thing now.
Right.
In terms of Matic, from the time I see Shaw didn't travel, I'm not sure. McTominay didn't
McTominay?
travel.
Yeah.
I know it was going to be Matic and Fred. We have no other midfielders
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
You do have Van de Beek, Pogba out. We tend like that, right? So it's wherever that midfield give it today, that is what we will be
Yeah.
doing. No,
Yeah.
we didn't have nothing better, right? And we talked about it last review. Daniel James, we knew every time Daniel James play one game, he would have get a good showing, and then the next game, Oli will go in and put him in, and then he will get hooked half time,
Right.
And I think he was one for sure to get hooked if he didn't score that goal. That
Right.
goal went a long way to change Daniel James' fate today. Trust me, I tell you, and even when he scored the goal, I think Gregory had mentioned it earlier. When Daniel James scored a goal, you saw a different kind of
A
confidence
difference.
started to show.
Yeah.
Then he started to take
Yeah.
on a little more. He started to travel the ball better. He was a little more aggressive. His head was up. So goals is really, go a long way. I
Yeah.
was surprised not to see Greenwood, but my thoughts was you need a striker off the bench.
Okay.
So it was either he start with Martial and bring on Greenwood,
Mm-hmm.
or he start with Greenwood and bring on Martial. You know.
But,
So now,
I mean, in terms of let me just say, this started with both of them, and let me say we were the 60th, we had 3 goals, and to me, I mean, game set match. But it
yeah,
was today.
yeah. Let me just get some comments before we carry on, right? Very saying it was a hard watch, no lie, but the result is what counts in it. It is, it is.
Yes, yes,
But we
yes.
are football fans, and oh, come down, man. Every week it will be a hard watch. I am saying there are certain teams in the league we know to expect a certain type of play, hard to break down, and sometimes one goal will win it. Newcastle's one of those teams. I'm glad for the 3 goals. Yeah,
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 but Newcastle was poor though. If you really take in context, outside of the first half where we didn't play anything, Newcastle didn't even play anything because we had our 70% possession and we didn't create anything. And in the second half also we dominated the game. So I think Newcastle was a real poor Newcastle showing also.
yeah. Hey, Jody. Good night, man. Thanks for
Hey,
joining.
good night, Jody.
Hey, Simeon. Thanks for joining, man. He said Matic first half and second, a tale of two teams. Yeah, Matic had a much better second half.
Yeah,
Team,
for sure.
team looks different when he can bring the ball out of defensive class. Yeah. So, Nico, general thoughts on the game.
Um, Again, the first half, and we talk about that, it was real, it was stressful. You're pulling your hair out. You're just hoping to see where's the plan. You know how we're going to break down Newcastle. You didn't see no crossing, you didn't see no 1-2s, you didn't see quick transition play, you didn't see any kind of chemistry between the midfield attack, even the defense at times. Fred I don't know what's going on with Fred, right? Fred need to learn to pass the ball properly. Sometimes a 10-yard pass, Fred is kicking outside. So definitely Fred to me was one of the poorer players, especially in our first half today. Even in the second half, he was not that, but I think he will be improved a little bit just as the entire team. But I think Fred really disappointed with some of his passing, especially for a midfielder. Yeah, what I'm telling you, if we really had a strength in our team, we had a strength in our midfield department. And I think one of the name who neck will be on the news would be Fred. Because I think we really need quality passing. I think we really need quality passing, and we don't have that. I think Fred killing me in that department because the only time he just lose the ball, it's not helping the team. That was more or less the first half. And we talk about Rashford and his moment of brilliance. I thought he missed the chance because when he got that first break, he put it through his craft, legs, went. I said, well, all right, then the defender come back. I said, Lord, I should make this man come back. But then with a moment of brilliance, he scored a goal. And again, I think that is what more or less we're depending on at the moment, individual brilliance. And Rashford came up with that moment of individual brilliance there. I think we edged in terms of deserving to go ahead at that point. But we was really struggling. And then now to go and to equalize, right? With that equalizing goal, I don't know, for some reason, best we know that when teams go behind like Newcastle did, they will have a reaction, right? And we didn't deal with that reaction at all. For the entire season, we have not been dealing with the reactions of teams. You saw it against Everton, right? Again, you saw it again today. The reaction was real poor to try to have them off, and I think there's a real poor goal to consider. I think Maguire was sloppy in his decision making. Just a careless flick ahead with no brain, and I think that cost us and pegged us back. And from then, you really wasn't sure where the game was going because you wasn't seeing us creating anything, and Newcastle was just hoping and playing on the counter. So after that, you really didn't see where the game was going, and that was more or less it for me to the first half.
Yeah, yeah. Jody saying glad for the victory, but I was a bit disappointed in their performance. A bit, Jody.
Yeah.
Hey, Al Hassan, thanks for joining, buddy. He said I have to try joining you guys, but I'm always at the backyard. I will try to get you, and you try to get me
into the program. Yeah.
No problem, man. No problem. No problem. I am saying you're right about that, and I always say if we get a solid DM, Fred Scott will be in trouble. But you're right. Now it's looking like Fred. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know by Nico Boy, but and you mentioned it, and we were chatting about it before we went live. I'm not seeing where the team playing like a team. You know, normally when they go through training and they go through patterns and they go through strategies and tactics, you go work with 11 players. Whether it's defensively, midfield, or attacking. But to me, it looks as though Oli just sit down with Bruno and Rashford and say, here we're going to live by what Oli to do. Because those are the only two players who I see really looking like the upfit. You know what I'm saying? Now, whether that's their initiative based on confidence or everybody just choose to, well, hey, get them the ball and let them do what they do, I don't know. But I'm not seeing where a team game taken, we've seen it play out on the field. Right? And that is what affecting me. So know that it's 2 years now we under this manager. Now, Thomas Tuchel have Chelsea a couple weeks. Now forget the fact that they might be winning and beating teams and blowing teams off the park, but you're actually seeing something. You're seeing something different from when Lampard was there. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see where we're utilizing the full team and men know the role and people not out there looking as though they're freestyling because it's affecting us. They talk about our Rashford play, and next day Rashford will run into a brick wall. So we can't depend on that to happen and work for we every game. You know what I'm saying? So I fully agree with everything you're saying in terms of the first half. Fred again. Fred, for me, where's everything them horse on them is where?
The blinders?
The blinders, and all he sees is Bruno. Fred always looking to pass the ball to Bruno, and I don't understand when it have other open passes. And I don't just talk, and I'm not talking idly, I'm talking based on fact, because it's had an instance in the game where it's had a free pass to Rashford, and you force the ball to Bruno. You know what I'm saying? I told you that it had so much time Fred went for a long pass. So who?
Yeah, he don't have that at all. He don't have that in his locker. Fred can't shoot, he can't pass along. All Fred give is to try to win back the ball and pass it to Bruno. You can't even off.
Kiana. Hey Rydell, welcome man. Thanks for joining. He's saying Fred needs to learn how to Kiana.
Too late for that, boy. I feel it too late for that. I feel it too late for that.
No. Here, you might think understand, Nico. My only for me to be able to wrap my head around why this boy still shooting, that boy had to be shooting in training and scoring. That's the only way, you know.
Nah, I don't.
You had to be scoring and training to be shooting in game.
Because even the manager said better he don't shoot.
So then why he still shooting?
Right? He just get a brain freeze, boy. Whatever the manager say, he just forget it at that moment and then shoot. Because maybe as as a Brazilian, I supposed to have that in my locker. Shooting for a Brazilian supposed to be natural to me. Right? But boy.
my next thing too, Nico, some of we passing, boy. Now it had a couple plays I saw that I was a little bit pleased, but it needs to happen more in the game. I mean, and I know plenty of viewers if they didn't play football, they have knowledge about football and different tactics and different ideas in the game. And the triangle passing. And I saw in the first half, Rashford, Marcel, Shaw had some nice little triangles, and we were seeing where something was looking like, wait now, I wanted to do that in training, but because it's looking little rehearsed.
Rehearsed, right.
You know what I'm saying? And we were seeing where it created an opening. It's just that I think Rashford tried to lean on the defender, kind of really man the ball ended up going. But we seeing where little intricate movement and passing working. You know what I'm saying? But yet still, we forcing it. We doing our own thing. Oh God, boy, it's real frustrating talking about how we just playing on the court. Joey saying he needs to learn to pass the ball properly on a regular basis.
Yeah, I Fred again, yeah.
But you see, Fred, the thing with Fred now is, Fred had the confidence of the manager, so Fred started to take initiative now. He wants to be that. He wants to play that Hollywood pass and he wants to come off.
Fred, he had to dial it back down, boy. He had to dial it back right down and stick to the basics, boy. Because you're giving away the ball.
I am saying Fred was a goal scorer with Shakhtar.
Oh gosh, I fed up here this line, boy. Oh God, leave Fred and Shakhtar out of this thing now. Fred and Shakhtar. Leave wherever Fred used to do with Shakhtar. Let me just block that whole copybook and start her fresh and new. Because the new Fred, he can barely pass and he can't shoot.
I am here what to do. If you could, I know where your techie skills, but do a little compilation with Fred shooting and scoring and passing from Shakhtar. Let me see now. Prove to me that he's serious now. Because I don't know. I tell you, I don't know. Hey, Ansel, thanks for joining.
Hey,
Stay up all late, but Maguire.
Hey.
What's that?
Hey, I up to today, I won diner. I said, we had to die with this boy. The ship had to go down with this man. Because after you spend that 80 million, you break our world record. The ship had to go down with this man. Other if we get change our manager, right? The ship had to go down with this man, but and is either Maguire's the problem or the Lindelof is the problem, right? Or Maguire's the Lindelof problem and the Lindelof is Maguire's problem, right? Because yeah, I'm telling you, nah boy.
Hey Peter, welcome. Thanks for joining, buddy. But here now, and the thing about Maguire is that, as you say, Nico, we stuck with Maguire.
Yes, problem.
As Ansel say, $80 million. So anybody who's coming in had to come in to compliment Maguire. You understand? So earlier, I know we just talked today about a man, and then tomorrow again we see some good change. And it's the nature of how this team is. And see, there's lead us to how to criticize Maguire today and praise him tomorrow. But we were consistently from our $80 million signing, you understand? And expect to be captain.
Oh Lord. And today, captain too, you make it the captain too, so now you more of a dagger.
You understand? So
and today, well, later I drop in form, so take a rest, you know? Because you are all gonna look by dropping your captain, like turmoil in the camp.
Yeah. I am saying that's on YouTube him. The man still feel like he has it. Here now, I am do my favor. Copy the link and share it. Let me see this now. So I don't think I had real to go and search for myself. Trust me. You know, I might end up seeing some next thing I'm cooking and I might get yeah. Jody saying Maguire made a horrible mistake clearance, but I still find the hair. What? Nah, Jody.
Yeah, Jody, easy boy.
Nah, Jody. Nah. How you put on the hair?
It hard to put on the hair. It's real hard. Because you try, but now I tell you, to me, the hair don't have no confidence in his defense. Right? He have no confidence in his defense. So when he's something like that, he doesn't say, well, look at foolishness again. You know? That will be the first thing went in his head. So maybe Jody, if he had confidence, let me say if it was Ramos in the back who made a mistake, he might have said, nah, but I don't bail out Ramos out of this one. Normally Ramos has saved us, I don't bail Ramos out of this one. But with Maguire, oh gosh, Maguire again.
Yeah. Nah, but you expecting better than from your captain too. Oh God. Kevin, hey, welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining me. Saying good night for us. Glory, Man United. But Fred could get a pass at the season.
Last game, that was a nice pass, but guys, as you said, that purple patch. And that purple patch long gone. You know, some people just have a patch that lasts a little bit. That was just a little blot, and that is it. But it was a beautiful pass, no doubt.
I am saying we could have buy Maguire and Alibaba for Oh God! Oh Lord! I wonder if that lead the Maguire into them kind of thing they're funny on
the figurines. Yeah.
Simeon saying game change when Matic took charge and took more initiative, and no comment on all the tactics. Yeah. Nobody know what to comment on all the tactics. Yes. James, our biggest striker, now puts him on top and rest.
Woohoo! That low blow there, boy.
Yeah, nah.
Anyway, if I go ahead, Muse.
Yeah, nah. I watch me. Let me get some comments in and then we go talk about Martial, right? Kevin saying Fred's pass to Rashford last game was pass at the century.
Yeah.
Ogoya, all the
Yeah.
force that man, all the
But
force that
oh,
was wicked.
like that collector's item for Fred, as a collector's item, he had to frame that.
Or watch me based on Iron, right? He had better from Shakhtar. So
Yeah, but now, oh God.
until Iron sent me that compilation and I see better pass, Kevin, we gotta put this pass on the shelf until we see what he do at Shakhtar. Hey Kendall, thanks for joining, man. He's saying the end result was good, but oh gosh, it staying for too long. Not enough.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, but you couldn't put it better.
Exactly.
You couldn't put it better. Jody saying Nico, your boy Greenwood, buck up. Yeah, he having a mature season.
Exactly.
You know?
He improving, he ease him up, he improving.
But I feel the name Greenwood could still stick, eh? Hey,
It's a good name.
A little too wicked.
Yeah.
Kendall also saying when Matic goes forward, we look more creative. And you know, Matic have that ability. We know Matic has that in his locker. The only problem with Matic is, you know, he legs. And I mean, I don't want to go down the age route. You could see the best of Matic past him. But the quality, you could see the quality still there, you know?
I think also the length of time some he has taken the pass finally, the amount of time he has wanted to turn back and killing, let me say, that transition period. I think that is what started to affect Matic's game because look, even today, even with as you were saying, he age or whatever it is, but watch how effective he was today. Because as somebody else said before, he took more initiative to go forward. Yeah, he took more initiative to go forward, and by doing that, he created chances. So it's not in the legs, but it's just the confidence and the bravery to want to go forward and play the ball forward and not always want to go sideways or back.
Yeah.
So we know he have the quality in his passing going forward.
Nice. Hey, Peter, he's saying, I personally think it was one of our poorest performances because of the fact that defensively we're shady. When Bruno not producing, there's no creative spark anywhere. Martial, I hope those people that support him take their desperation tablets today.
Depression tablets today.
Depression tablets. If you are not getting chances to try to get more involved in the build-up plays, Marcel was non-existent. Rashford and James only bright side for me today. Fred, I really don't expect much. I expect a big smile, even if he
How would that be?
Yeah.
A big smile.
I had said, Reams, if you peel off the Marcel from your jersey, you might see James.
No, James is a good form. What are you doing, James? You can't do James that. That's an insult to James, man. That's an insult to James. James in form. Anyway.
God, hey. Kendall saying, well, it's the coaching staff who made him play more defensive. That's Matic you're talking about. All you hear now? Marcel, what's in my heart, Ollie? What's in my heart? What's in my heart? And the strong and I hope when he get a game, that's going to be the game. He could take his chance and, you know, he could kick on and, you know, the rest of the season going to be a breeze. But, oh, God, by every game, he making it harder for me to come on the show and say anything good about him.
To be fair to him, he really haven't been getting chances to be poor, you know, but the more games go by and the more he doesn't produce, well, then you know all the pressures that will be piling up, right?
But as you say that, right, because I was going there. Now, my thing is, right, is if you look at how the game display, right, and if you look at how the game played today, Marcel has to constantly drift because we're not providing the kind of service, the kind of quality service. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I want to just go back to the West Brom game because that was the game when Cavani played through the middle. And if we honest with ourselves, Cavani had a similar game to what Marcel had today. Right? That will be fair.
Be fair. I'm saying yes.
Right? But nobody gonna say anything about that, right? Because Cavani scored how much, 1 million goals for PSG, right? Anyway.
No, and he scored some important ones for us also.
Marcel too, right?
No, we talk about of recent now. Of recent,
no.
Remember football. You don't live too much in the past with football, and you live in the present. So that was a bit too long ago for us to really remember and appreciate that. We need goals now. All right, well, go ahead.
Anyway, but my point is, the team, as I was saying before, because we don't have any structure or way of playing, we don't ever, this team under Oli, don't ever play for number 9. We not play, at least last season, I thought the chemistry and the way we were playing, you would have seen some nice intricate play, and you could have seen what was going on with the front with Marcel Greenwood and Rashford. We were seeing something happening, but from this season, from what I noticed, we don't play for our number 9. You know what I'm saying? So the kind of service that going to our number 9 is either poor or non-existent. Right. Most times you will see the ball either, you'll see a whole heap of the ball wide on the right or the left or in the middle of the park. And then, well, after they done take the 15,000 touches in the middle, the player overpass and Mark is supposed to run into space to collect and score, right?
Now, and if Fred making it pass, oh gosh.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to go back and say what I said before. I'm not defending Marcel because I agree Marcel is not having a good season. I defend him as much as I could. I could have defended him in the early, but too long. But what I'm saying is how the team playing is not making it any easier or any better for a number 9 to thrive. You know what I'm saying? And that is an indictment more on the team and on the coaching than the player. The player is the one who's suffering. And we fans looking at it at this level saying, Marcel's had a poor game. He off form. He's now number 9. You know what I'm saying? And we're not looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that, listen, we talked about last week, we talked about how much chances Rashford needed to score 1 goal. Why we're not providing those kind of chances on a regular basis for our number 9? You know what I'm saying? To say, well, hey, now, but he really not clinical. But we can't say that. Or we could talk about it, he not running off the ball. But where he running to go for what? Because most times when he make the run, it's either you're not seeing it, or you're not making the pass, or the pass off. You know what I'm saying? And to defend our point, because we just talk about Cavani is a man that make movement. Even when Cavani making the runs, Cavani don't get the ball. Still, I don't know how much I'll notice Cavani stop making plenty runs. Exactly. So, I mean, as I said before, I want to go back and make sure all you understand. I'm not defending Martial. Yes, Martial is my boy. But we do not play to benefit our number 9. That's just why I noticed. I'm still saying, based on how last season ended, I went and buy a Martial jersey for this season. I bounced my areas. Oh Lord, hey! All fella brutal, boy. All real brutal, boy. Hey! Simeon saying, I still support Marcel. I'm just starting to believe he will never reach his top potential at this club because we have no structure. And that's basically what I was saying just now. And I'm fearful that he don't reach that because of how the team display. You know what I'm saying? If this team had a way of playing, a system, then I think more players would have benefited than just the 2 players who stand out right now.
All right.
Jody saying Marcel form down. That's just it. But Jody, you're supposed to be able to, a system supposed to be able to help a player who out of form to catch form. If Marcel was to get goals, you will see how his game will change. We talk about James today. James was poor for a lot of the game, and after James scored today, James started playing different. So all I'm saying is, if we play to the strengths to allow our number 9, be it Cavani, be it Rashford, be it Marcel, whoever play at that position. Look, even when Greenwood was playing there against Sociedad, even today, Greenwood wasn't getting nothing. So all I'm saying, if we playing for players to score, you would see how quick Marcel form would change.
I think also really, well, for me, you saw that PSG game. You know that PSG game for me. Well, you know how I ranted and I raved for that game after that disappointing result. And I think from then, I think with the chances that Marshall would have gotten, I think from then I saw Marshall's confidence or his form. I know his form was already dead low, right? But from since then, I don't think he have really come out of that patch, you know. And some of the racist remarks, I think, against him also, I think maybe even that have put a bit of a downer on him. You know, I think that has affected him. I think that has affected his confidence. And as some of the guys saying, Marshall, I think he just out of form.
Yeah. I'm still saying he is a confidence player. Once the confidence come back, the goals will come. And that's what I'm saying. The team not playing to try to help the fella get back his confidence, you know? Hey, hi Karina. Good
Hey,
night. Thanks
Karina,
for
good night, good night.
I am saying we have greedy players on our side. He also saying I'm seeing the future. One has to go either Marcel or Rashford, and we know they keep in the Englishman. Of course, of course, of course.
But that is the man you have to keep. But how you get Rashford though?
He can't feature anything in the next country, Ian. That's
No,
basically what I'm trying to
who
say.
tell you that? Yeah, of course not. But to me, Rashford is one of the most. If it wasn't for Rashford and Bruno, where the sea would have been?
I could anyway.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
I'm sure we will not be second.
No
We
Rashford
did,
slander, no Rashford slander.
right?
But all I'm saying is right now the team is playing for individuals and not playing a team. And that is why you'll find two players who have the coach confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because they start all the games. Those are the only two that will majorly benefit because everything going through them. You know what I'm saying? They're playing all the games. You understand? The coach playing them full game, even if they're playing rubbish. So they have when penalties taken, there's only one man taking all the penalties. So
Yeah.
we're not playing for the
But no,
team.
but
That's all I
it's
say.
about trusting players too. And the reason why
No. And yeah,
they would stay onto the field is because the coach trusts them that here what you're having a bad game, but most likely you would be one of the players to step up to win the game for me. So you could be having how much of a bad game you still on that field. And remember that football, eh?
yeah.
If you use a man who's scoring the goals and winning games for me, how poor he is, hey, you know what I mean? That the man who possibly might end up doing it, he's one with the quality, so he understands the field.
Yeah. Peter saying, I'm just happy men taking their chances, especially Daniel James. People said he's just a 100-meter sprinter who plays football, but I saw the desire to excel and play for the team. When he lost the ball, he tracked back until he got it back. I think this is what Ollie wants from men because when people put in their shift, they make it easier for the forwards. Marcel needs what Luke Shaw had to go through. That is having someone to take his place and on his heels. He got talent but lacking desire. But it's like I don't know if I get where we're coming from, Peter, but I don't think he lacking desire. You know, it's just really as Nico had mentioned earlier, he confidence take a serious hit. But sometimes you need your players around you to play for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's not happening.
But to be honest, to Ollie, in terms of that, I think that was the Southampton game. The Southampton game, I think he took off Cavani. I think it was an injury, of course, but he brought on Marshall, and to me that was also for confidence, to build confidence. Because here, what Southampton are team down, most likely going to rip them apart. Marshall, I want you to go out there and build some confidence. Yes, and he came on and he did well, but I guess he hasn't kicked on since more or less from after that game.
Yeah, but the difference between the coach giving you an opportunity and when you're on the field, your teammates playing for you, that's two different things in it. I could give you many games. I could give you games upon games upon games. But if the team not playing to say to your strengths as we main number 9, as what we're supposed to call we main goal threat, then it's not gonna help you. It will just make you look worse, and then the coach ain't got no choice but to pull you off. And how are you gonna help your confidence?
Fair enough.
Ryder saying, Reem, you correct what you're saying, but Marcel real out of form as well. Yeah, he is, no doubt. Marcel, the Marcel we saw last season is two totally different people we looking at now. You can see it. I am saying Marcel does look like he just pass the locker room straight and go on focus. Oh, no, but I mean, I don't want to take nothing away from the contributions that Rashford and Bruno making. I think it's we can't just bypass it as though it's nothing. Them fellas and them carrying the team right now. You know what I'm saying? But all I want to see is a little more structure and a plan in the way we just play. That will not only benefit two people, because if these two people don't show up, then the team in trouble. When Marcus Rashford and Bruno don't show up, it's not them alone losing. It's the entire team, Manchester United Football Club, losing. So why are we putting all our weight on two players' shoulder when we can actually do something in training that will involve the entire team, patterns, structure, style of play, something of the sort. So when we go out there, we will know if Rashford don't score, we know the goal will come from somewhere else. If Bruno don't take a penalty, we know we go score anyhow. And we are winning games 1-0.
Let's remind we trash Sociedad on Tuesday. There's a part in there.
And we know why we trust Sociedad, Nico. We know why. How much teams coming to play like Sociedad? How much games like Sociedad we're gonna get in the Premiership? Answer me.
Not much.
Simeon saying don't think Marcel has lost confidence in himself necessarily, but I think he lost confidence in his teammates getting him chances, and that's why he's lit out. He looks fed up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua, thanks for joining, man. He said Marcel lazy.
Hey Joshua, good night.
He needs to spend time on the bench.
They get some bench days, especially body fit.
And I don't think Marcel did anything today to get Oli any kind of conundrum when Cavani is here. You know what I'm saying?
Cavani went back into the starting lineup.
Yeah. And as you say, Nico, Marcel can't argue because Oli has been true to your word and given him chances, Jody saying, I think the team missing Pogba in the middle to help out with that creativity. Watch me. We missing Pogba. Bad.
We missing McTominay real bad too, Ooh, boy. We missing But but honestly we missing Pogba. And I really want to see a consistent run with Pogba and McTominay in the team. I honestly think that with a proper midfielder alongside McTominay, we could win titles. I know all of us heavy McTominay, but I honestly believe that with McTominay and a quality midfielder, we could win titles. Fred could watch up this side.
Let me finish the statement for Nico. With McTominay and a quality midfielder who he would replace in the 88th minute, we go really win titles.
All right.
Reem, you're taking, boy, watch me. Left, right, and center. But I mean, as I said before, Marcel again nothing to defend, Marcel again nothing to defend, but I'm trying to look at the bigger picture as well, and the team are helping him. But at the same time, Marcel had to take responsibility for his form, and he had to start to take a little more initiative as well, I think, So, yeah, Nico. So, I don't know if you have anything in the game that you want to mention before we move on to the next part.
I think I just want to touch on Daniel James with that winning goal. I think you saw some instruction given to Daniel James, because to me, let me say maybe if it was Greenwood playing on the right at that moment, I think Greenwood would have come inside. I think we would have been more on the inside, and we possibly would have missed that chance. So I think that there was a bit of coaching in that chance created, because you saw that second half Daniel James actually hold the width a lot on the right side. And even, let me say, if he was more clinical, even in his crossing, right, because he had a lot of chances where he went down the right with space and time to deliver a quality ball, which he didn't at most of the times. But to me, I saw a bit of coaching in terms of the goal, hold your width, the chance will come, do cluster the middle, and also how effective he was even afterwards with creating space and having let me say, been a bit more quality on the final ball. He could have came out with a goal and 2 assists or 3 assists.
Yeah, I think for me, Daniel James, his game really started to show in terms of the positivity after he scored. But I noted some of the things that you mentioned there. So yeah, I think it's tough games for Daniel James, and in hindsight, you could tell that probably this was one, and I guess because you score, But going into the game, we know a lot of people would have been scratching their head with his inclusion. Peter saying, Reem, you mentioned system, how they set up to play and how they should play. But less than a week ago, critics said this was one of Manchester United best games. I'm thinking that we stick with players too long that give too many poor performances and keep them too long in the starting 11. It might sound harsh, but there needs to be accountability, and I don't know if you all looked at Chelsea coach seeing something wrong and sub Tammy Abraham. I think it's um
Hudson-Odoi.
Hudson-Odoi, yeah. If a player is not in form, don't play him in the 11. Um, I hear your point, but if I could respond to it, I think the mentality or the culture at Man United is totally different to that at Chelsea, yeah. And I think that culture it goes from the head down. Chelsea have a hiring and sacking culture. We hire you, and if you don't bring success instant, then we sacking you. And that happens from the top straight down. You see, with how they treat managers and with how they treat players, right? At Man United, and it happened even with Sir Alex Ferguson. He used to trust players, and that the kind of confidence players need to get from the manager. Now, I'm not saying that you play a player through for the entire season who out of form, but you had to consider it at the personal aspect where if you know a player have the potential, and I mean, I don't know if you're talking about Marcel in particular here. Last year, Marcel was the player of the season. Last year, Marcel was the top scorer. So, the player have that quality. Behind the scenes, Ollie probably having discussions with the man. You don't know what Ollie know that we don't know, that allowing him to continue to keep faith in the player, to give him the chances for him to kick on, you know? So, and I remember even with Alex Ferguson, many used to wonder why it is Alex Ferguson had Giggs and Neville in the team so long. But these were the players that would have given Sir Alex Ferguson the success that he had. That's why we call him a legend today. So sometimes I think, you know, saying that we sticking with the players for too long without understanding the bigger picture. I don't know if I answer your question there, Peter, but I just might thought. I don't know what Nico think about it.
Um, I kind of on the side of, to me, we does really keep players a bit too long in terms of maybe not moving them on. You know, to me, we should have had a stronger midfield to start this season. To me, we should not have been going into the season with Fred and McTominay as our let me say our central pairing. We should have had a quality backup, and to me that goes off maybe all right, all gonna do good, all gonna do better. We hope all do better next season, and showing that faith now when you know that here what we had to cut the losses and get a quality player in. So and that could also go for Marshall. That all right, maybe cutting it. We need a center forward and get us 30 goals a season, 20 goals a season, and maybe we should move on. You know?
Jody said yes, Nico. It had many occasions where James made the run, and all he had to do was drag back the ball, leaving the defender to slide off the field, and he could, yeah. And I think that is the part of James' game that he had to really work on, eh? Hey Richard, thanks for joining, man. He's saying Ollie gives players chances until they prove themselves wrong. Example, Lingard.
And I would agree, I would agree with that point. I would definitely agree with that because even Pereira, and we know that he was limited in the quality players he had to bring on, and he actually showed faith in them. He actually gave them the chances. He gave Pereira chances. He gave Lingard chances. Who else it was? I think he gave other players chances that they just didn't take it, and he said, "Well, all right, we decided to move on." So I hope that even at the end of this season, he continue with that trend because we need quality in the team.
Yeah. And the thing about it, the players we have. I mean, even though some players on the team, like Lingard, as Richard was saying, you see now Lingard going to West Ham and looking like a baller, but don't get tired. Already pressure to play for Man United is different,
Yeah, that too definitely.
So I hoping
Go at West Ham and have a poor game, and nobody study that. Nobody bat an eye to that. At Manchester United one poor game and the whole world against you.
Yeah. So I hoping that this run Lingard on could continue. So come summer we could probably get 60 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, you got Oli can't come out and say, well, I want to sell him. So all you had to say, well, hey, yeah, what's going on? We want him back. We know he will go there and do well. But
Yeah.
the better Lingard do is the more he price will go up. So
Exactly. And to me, that I think that's the plan.
yeah. Richard saying, I see the looking to appoint a director of football.
No, look, how many years we hearing that, boy? Years on top of years we hearing that.
But Nico, it's have any let me just wrap it up real quick with this one, right? So we want to go through the different sections on the pitch. The defense, the midfield, and the attack. Right? We want to pull out one player and rate them, whether it's a positive rating or a negative rating based on their game. Right? So let me start with the back. The back will be including the goalkeeper, so the back one.
Yeah.
And guys, you all could feel free to join in the comments as well if you wish.
Yeah. Definitely, I will go with Maguire first for if I rate the defense. I think today, again, Maguire really do instill that confidence in me. I do feel confident that Maguire will make the right decisions on the field. I don't think that Maguire is the type of leader that is needed at Manchester United. I think he is too much of a nice guy. Guys, maybe at opening hindsight too, but to me, he just does seem like a Manchester United leader, you know. And as somebody that said, we stick with 80 million player that we can again maybe an Alibaba for how much, right?
7 million.
Maybe even less. So for me, if I really pick out that player, I think Maguire to me again was disappointing. I know he had some chances or he's trying to improve his game in the forward aspect. You saw where he made a few runs, he got his head on the ball a few times, which to me, he should be doing much better again. But still, I'm disappointed in Maguire. And if I rate him today, I guess maybe because we win, you get a 6. I give him a 6. I give him more than that, boy. Even if I think about that 7, I can give him a 7.
Yeah. You see, that's some, and the player I picking out is Maguire as well, because it has certain things he just do so well. But remember, your core responsibility is to organize the defense, you know, to make sure people listening to you in the back, you know, and you had to be you had to make sure when you make a decision that it's benefiting the entire team. And I remember it had a situation where it had a kind of deflection in the back, and he take the ball off Fred's foot.
Fred, yeah, when he had Fred, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fred
had a corridor for that.
Yeah, and you loading up Fred when I thought you was the one who was more wrong, and that reminded me when we played Spurs and he dragged down Shaw, you understand? And then we conceded, and then we went on to lose the game by a big margin.
Yeah, so and then he injured by before that too.
Yeah, so I'm not seeing where Maguire is really decisive, you know, where he really demanding a certain level of control and order and structure in the back to be the man who we relying on for that now, you know.
Yeah.
And as you just always say, sometimes they hear this watch here and say, God, I in trouble.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
You know. So yeah, I mean, but in terms of Maguire trying to progress the ball, I think he did fairly well.
Definitely one of his strengths.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see we actually getting at the end of crosses in the opponent's box now. It's just going to start to get on target a little more regular and probably try to score as we saw he used to do with Leicester, you know. But your core responsibility is still shaky. I don't like what we've seen with Maguire at the back. Too much time we concede and sloppy goals that most of the times you're responsible for.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you're generous, Nico. I go with a 5 because your core responsibility was to set up in the back, and it had too much shaky moments there. And the goal we conceded was your fault. Ryder saying Shaw keeping his good form is the only positive thing at the back. Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
I still am a little calm about Shaw, but I can't fight that.
Yeah.
You know, Jody scored the whole team, boy.
Yeah.
7 for De Gea, 5 for Maguire, 5 for Lindelof, 7 for Shaw, 7 for Bissaka, 5 for Fred, 7 for Matic, 7 for Bruno, 7 for James, 7 for Rashford, and 5 for Martial. Right?
Right. Martial almost make the team.
Peter saying 5 for Maguire, 8 for Bissaka, 4.5 for Fred, 7 for
Yeah,
Matt.
Freddie make the team. Freddie make that team at all. If he can't make it, five is the bottom. Anything under that, he deserve to be played. Anything, go ahead.
Matic 7, Bruno 8, Rashford 8, James 8.5, Marcel Ream. I think enough. Thanks for the consideration, Peter. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Again, it's left, right, and center. Kurt, what's going on, brother?
Again.
Oh God, buddy. Thanks for joining me that way, man. Yeah, Nico, midfield.
Midfield, Fred. Guys, I know we win, guys, and let me say it on the flip side, maybe you haven't Matic, but I think looking at Fred as a Manchester United midfielder, something is wrong. Something is wrong that a midfielder cannot find its target, which is 5 and 10 yards away. Right? You're looking for, I don't know if you're trying to pick a mango up in the sky where there's no trees. What it is, Fred. So definitely, Fred boy, after I give Maguire a 6, well, hey, now Fred a disappointment today, so Fred I think I 5. I think Fred was really all over the place with his passing. I think he really had to buckle up on his passing, his quality passing. And if your game is short passing, just get real good and do that good now. Because your game is not a long ball over the top to find nobody. So let's scrap that out of your game and play basic until we get upgrade now. Because we need to upgrade, Fred. You're getting the chances, and to a point you're taking them, bits here and bit there. But he definitely has to do much better. And Fred got a 5 boy. And I could even agree with Ryder here, a 4.5. It was horrible.
Yeah, Kurt saying Fred was never a shooter. Peter saying Fred best.
Man.
Peter saying Fred best pass last game was a miss kick. So we guys got some comments here. Kurt saying Reem, I still need a bush bat, bro. I'll let talk to Callum. Callum say you're gonna organize something like Callum thing and work.
Yeah,
right?
Since tell me about from Callum, no?
Yeah, you understand? So we end up Callum thing bush bat instead. You know? I agree with you because, and I'm going in on Fred as well. I don't know, and I always say, I think I've messaged it to you, Nico. Every time you look at training pictures, or even pictures when they're coming into the stadium, or when they're going to line up before the game starts, Fred always up under Bruno Bamsi. You know what I'm saying? Fred is a Bruno groupie.
Yeah.
Fred needs to remove the blinders.
Right.
Other players when he passing the ball. Because everything Fred's trying to do is to impress Bruno. Fred will see Bruno have 16 defenders around him and Fred will still play the ball to Bruno. Having an issue with that. You understand? Play for the team. You're not playing because of your partner and friend. The partner and friend that make team losses. So Fred, you had a howler today. We talk about your passing decisions. We talk about your passing, your ability to pass. And today, I see Fred went up with somebody and get brushed off like he wasn't there. So if you can't defend and you can't put in them kind of tackles, then what are you good for? I defend Fred when he play good. I defend Fred when Callum Coleman when he do land. I mean, hard today, Fred. You're messing up. 4.5. Hey, Akida, thanks for joining, man. Say happy for the short tire. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Short theory.
Yeah. Short theory.
Right. That was. I mean, he didn't really. He had adjusted the football. You know, he realized. I think he realized that the physicality in the Premiership different. You know. But I'm glad. Oli really getting them by a blind boy. I'm really glad for that boy. Anyway, go ahead, Nico.
So there you go. That was midfield, forward line. I definitely had a. I want to give it to Rashford. I definitely want to give it to Rashford. I even go to James too. But for me, I think Rashford really confidence is sky high. I think Rashford he knows that the team is reliant on him. He knows his responsibility within the team. I don't think he's a player that shirks responsibility. And you saw it from the first goal today. You saw the determination. You saw even when he scored, how relieved he was. it's a score because to me, to me, it seems like at times, if it's not Bruno, it's Rashford who toting the entire Manchester United club on the shoulders. And I think that to me, he really stand out today with that goal. I think I know he also won the penalty. And to me, if I had with Rashford, I eat definitely again. I eat.
A good shout. I went for Daniel James, right? Simply because I don't think, and if we've been honest with ourselves, I don't think anybody was like, "Hey, Daniel James starting by nice."
Yeah.
99% of the Manchester United population when they saw that team sheet was like, "Oh God," you know what I'm saying? And I think at the end of the game, everybody would have been talking different about Daniel James. You know, so for me, the kid we talk about it, comments came in about Daniel James, areas in his game where he needs to improve, but even in his limited ability today, he was able to get a goal. He was using his pace to cause some problems down the right hand side. I even saw Daniel James cutting in and running at players today. A player that don't play much games, and he is sure to play the next game. You'll try to make sure and get the basics correct and just do as much as you need to do correct so that you could say, well, hey, I complete 90% passes or I make sure I pass to Bruno like our friends do. But you saw where Daniel James was taking it cement today. Yes, I agree with him when Jody said, the final ball questionable and that's the level that he had to work on. But he took his goal well. I see Rashford miss goals from that spot where he take and score. You know what I'm saying? And after that goal, the man game ramp up plenty, where he was even more of a handful. So for me, I gave James a 7.5 today. He was my standout in the attack.
Nice.
Especially, and I want to just, title by saying, especially when at the start of the game, nobody wanted him to start. Kurt saying Scotty was also missed today. Well, I know you and Nico is Scotty McTominay.
Yeah, Maxos. Yeah.
Donny injured, only liking himself, so he don't have to explain why not playing. Oh God, that cameo Shola got was good because he slowed down the game. Kurt, you're stretching that one, boy. I know.
Good for sure. Good for sure. Good for that. Start at 17 years old.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not like a 17 and 300 and something days, eh?
Yeah.
17 and about 10 days, eh?
Yeah. Nah, that was what man. How old Rashford was only getting DP?
I think about 18, boy.
18.
Yeah.
All right. Ryder saying happy for James today. I will give him a 7. Yeah, James really coming and I ain't too sure I want to see him in the next Premier League game. But
no, but if the man scoring, you have to play.
Who we playing? Which was the next Premier League game we playing?
Chelsea.
You gonna play Daniel James against Chelsea? All right, go ahead. Kirsten, Rashi 8, Slabhead 6, Basaka 6, De Gea 6, Fred 4.4, 4.5, Daniel James 7.5, Shaw 8, Lindelof 7, Martial 4.
You know, it's as Martial like 4. You think it was 0 and done?
Bruno 7.5, Matic 8. I ain't gonna give up on Marcelo, no, but I gosh my mouth. Sure, that was a bit frightened. Yeah, the physicality was different. He quite tried. I see him try to shield a ball and he get pushed off easy.
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
Peter saying Scott is the future Carrick Ream. Mark my words, ball control, passing, etc.
I agree 100%, Peter.
Right, nice. So you see how I really comment there and then Nico agree. I'm gonna clip up this part for when we tell McTominay next season. Or he probably play about 4 games like the Carabao Cup. No, but I mean, if McTominay...
Scott is the future, I'm telling you. To win championships with Scott in the midfield. We cannot do it with Fred.
Here now, if Scotty McTominay could continue to prove me wrong, then I'm taking that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, based on the levels that I be seeing out there, I will bring on Scott McTominay to show up games for me. You're not my starting midfielder to take me into championship. But Scott McTominay proved me wrong. You
He
know?
will, and he will.
Closing thoughts, Nico.
Like a quality next game. Whew, again, today was a hard watch. Even when the first half by itself was, you wish you could score out of your mind in total. You know, the second half, as much as we improved, and as much as we won the game, you still see a lot of room for improvement. And was most important was a 3 points that was needed because you saw Leicester, the form Leicester is in Leicester was in second place for a bit today. The other teams below us is dragging us down in that top four fight. And to me, that top four fight will be a difficult battle. I know we coming up with some tough games. So after these run of games, say, you don't know where we could end up. You don't know where we could end up after these run of games. I know we have Chelsea, we have City in this run coming up here. So it will be a real difficult run. I think if we could come out of this run, I think we'll be setting up ourselves real good for the final push. So again, yes, great to get the 3 points in the bag, get our winning momentum going again. I know we haven't lost much. I think we're just more or less a scheduled game within the recent past that we have lost. I think it's just really to keep up that momentum, continue to build that momentum. Even James, even if he has to come on, let him come on a confident player, willing to change the game, willing to win games for us. And if we continue that, you never know, maybe we could really seal that second place and maybe get City a fight to drop points come at the end of the season.
Yeah. Kurt saying, fellas, I feel Angel Gomez would have make the side,
No comment.
He also saying Reem Scotty passing, shooting, dribbling has improved, bro. Yeah, it's improved. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no at all. But has it improved to the level where, as Mr. Nico and Peter saying that we will take championships with? That's why I asked him.
Yes, I believe so. I honestly believe so.
Ryder saying I wouldn't start James against Chelsea. Neither would I. He already had a good defensive side talking about McTominay here.
Yeah.
Jody saying, yo, fellas, let me go and the people walk here. Yeah, man. Hopefully catch you all on the next show. Yes,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Thanks for joining, buddy.
I continue in.
Kurt saying agreed. Surprisingly, I would give new boy Ahmad a run to stretch the Chelsea defense. For me, Nico, I want to see a little more team football, a little more of what we saw last season. Because at the end of the day, if we continue to play like we're playing, then better teams will know how to nullify Rashford and Bruno. Because if you know, a lot of go through to them, if not everything, more or less. So we have to know how to switch up the play, and to switch up the play, you had to have a structure. You had to have some kind of cohesive plan. And that doesn't mean, well, give Rashford the ball and let Rashford try to make magic, or give Bruno the ball and try to make magic and hope for a penalty. That is not a game plan. So I want to see something a little bit more going into this run. As you say, we have a run of games. But I'm not too much concerned about the run of games because it's better teams, and better teams we tend to play better against the top teams. City, Chelsea, teams that will possess the ball more. And I think the fact that Thomas Tuchel, that is Chelsea coach, he's not too familiar with the league. He might be a little bit naive in terms of how we come to play us. And he might want to dominate possession and we might be able to beat them on the counter. I figure that. Again, we talk about Pep Guardiola respecting the Manchester United unit a little more. So he might come and play more defensive. Who knows? Because he could afford to drop a point as opposed to we, needing points. So he might come a little more tactical and a little more, looking at the bigger picture of that game. So who knows? So I think it's important for us to up with team game so that more players go benefit as opposed to just two. And that's all I want to see. I just want to see better football. And I think with that, results will come. Peter saying, have Marcel and Maguire led us to championship? The team now in transition.
It's still cool. Anyway,
But if you look at the quality of these players, you could tell that Marcel could make a bigger team than Scott. But I hear you, Scott dependable. I hear you. You know? Rydell saying, and we'll get Rydell the last comment here. He's saying, I would start Ahmad on Tuesday. If he has a good game, would take him off 65 minutes and start him against Chelsea.
Ooh, you're stretching it there, buddy.
Ooh, that big shout, buddy.
Yeah, that big shout.
A real big shout there. You know, but I don't disagree with you know, giving him a shout and looking on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yeah. But still giving Sociedad respect, right?
Yeah. Of course. So guys, we'll be here on Thursday for the review, but be reminded we also on YouTube. So continue to, you know, go across on that side and subscribe, like, you know, share, comment on the videos. You know, we appreciate it. You know, we're trying to get the comments out, right? On these videos as well on YouTube, on Facebook. You know, thanks for the likes. You know, feel free to share it and you know. And I do thank you for joining as well. Peter saying, yeah, I agree, just consistency. Yeah. And I think you're talking about Scott McTominay there, right?
No, I think it's the entire team. In terms of the system and, you know, having that consistency within the team.
Right, yes. So guys, thanks again. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for, you know, the banter. You know, we're here for it. And it's the most we could do after sometimes these frustrating games. But nonetheless, 3 points with second on the table, even though we know Leicester breathing our way back. We're still in second place. You know, so it's just to keep going, right? So thanks again, guys. Nico, we will see them on Thursday.
Yeah, man. Good night.